So I was embarrassing myself with this story of where I went to New Zealand, and then I have very bad fitness levels. So I have a friend that's a personal trainer that took me to the gym. And I haven't been to the gym that much. So and he absolutely smashed me in 5 minutes, and I couldn't breathe, and I was seeing stars. So I thought, okay, so my friend was challenging me. He said, "Hey, Ted, aren't you supposed to be some sort of balanced, person about, life and your career and, your health and all that sort of stuff?" And I thought, it sort of makes sense, because that balance is very, very important. And if we just focus on the academic stuff and we're not neglecting our physical health, then it's very hard to have that balance of happiness. So that's where it sort of all started for me. And I was showing people this funny form that the instructor will give you when you first start the gym. And then they give you all these sort of reps that you should do, how many of these exercises, how many of these exercises, and this and that, to train specific and different parts of your body, your arm, your leg, etc. So I was liking this to training yourself spiritually. When you are prostrating, you have to put your forehead, which is the most precious part of your body, and that's your head, down on this dirty ground, to remind yourself that you are still imperfect, that you are not so great, that you are not so fantastic. So the guru might be, for example, my teacher, they were on the road, main road, like on hybrid road. And when you see your guru, you fall immediately and then do the prostration 3 times. For most people, that's unbelievable. I mean, how could you ever? I mean, I met people before that think, I cannot do that. I just cannot do that. I said, why? I just can't do it. I don't know why. But a lot of people can't do that. Especially the bigger and more famous, the rich they are, they can't do it. So there's a lot of people that come to visit the monk in Taiwan. A lot of very, very rich Taiwanese businessmen. They just sort of like, oh, and then shake hands. But they can't do it, because they can't, just the idea of lowering themselves is impossible, because the ego is so huge. The idea of just for a moment lowering yourself is impossible. They can't see it. Because they don't know the mind-body exists. They just can't do it. It's a disability. It's actually a sort of growing sickness that you don't even see. Oh. And this becomes a bigger problem in relationships. When one person thinks, look, you should really make me happy. I'll tell you why. Because I'm more important than you. Because my ego's bigger, like I'm beautiful, or I'm handsome or whatever. And you should make me happy. And that's because your ego is so big, right? And the idea of lowering yourself to say, how are you today? To listen to the other person, to cook for the other person, my God, that really hurts my ego. To clean for you, oh my God, I'm about to die. So the ego becomes so huge that then the relationship starts breaking down. We just all can't take a step back. It's very, very difficult because our ego is overloaded. We just can't take a step back. And if you're finding that this is somehow happening at your workplace, where your manager has an ego problem, or maybe you yourself have an ego problem, I mean, you can take this to your manager and go, look, you should do some prostrations. You need to really keep your ego in check, because it's getting really nasty and I can't work with you. But you can see how, they don't see it. It's being blind to your own ugliness. They don't see this mind body at all. They don't see that their head is 5 times larger than their body. They're so huge in their ego. If they would, they will freak out and they should do something about it. But they don't see it. It becomes so big. It's not like their physical body. They might be very beautiful people, your managers, but but they just can't handle the fact that the ego is such a, they can't do something like this. Oh, in Sri Lanka, it's very interesting. We've been there a few times. Every single student in Sri Lanka, in university, high school, primary school, when they see their teacher, first thing is they touch their feet. Have you guys seen that before? No?
Never noticed.
I touched their feet. In Sri Lanka, not Sri Lankan students here, but they touch the feet of their teacher. Do you know why they'll do that? Any guess?
Respect?
Yeah, respect. To pay respect. Also keep your ego in check as well. That's why you don't have scenarios like, who do you think you are? You're a lecturer, I'm a student, I'm better than you.
Only teacher? What about parents?
A similar, elders, they touch their feet. So you don't have situations in many societies where, you know, the child talks to the parent as if they're rubbish, you know, or like, you know, who do you think? They call them by their whatever nickname or show zero respect to them. And that becomes a big, society becomes a big problem. Everybody is just all about themselves. And there's no idea of keeping in check everyone's ego. If you are in the sea of ignorance and suffering, every day you suffer from your own emotions. The only thing that will keep you afloat in this ocean is that piece of wood that is taking refuge.
So it's not Louis Vuitton.
Yeah?
It's not the piece of wood that holds.
It's saving you. Otherwise you're sinking. So without the teaching of the Buddha, you just think, you have no idea how to control those emotions. They just come and then they overwhelm you, like ego or like sadness or depression or desire. They just completely consume you and you start doing crazy things and you start getting out of control. So you're in the ocean. That's why they use the word refuge. Because without a refuge, then you're swimming in the sea of suffering. And there's nothing to keep you afloat. And you have no idea where you're going. Sometimes the anger will take you 2 minutes, you come back. Sometimes the anger will take you into a fight in a pub. Sometimes the anger will take you to maybe beating somebody up or getting someone killed to put you in jail. So you cannot control it, it's a sickness. So the only way to keep yourself afloat is to take refuge. Take refuge in teaching. Once that emerges, I know how to do the prostration. Gotta keep my ego in check. And you have to see that effect. And it becomes a very effective tool. So this is a tool, a mind tool that the Buddhists use, and it's incredibly effective. It's like the best drug on earth. You know, it's like if you're looking for an effective drug, then you do it and you immediately get results. This is one of the very, very good ones. Because you do it for maybe 1 day or 2 days and you immediately feel that your ego is diminishing. If you have problems talking to the other person you don't really like, just start doing this. So that is a practice, very, very effective. So that's the first mind tool. And if you're interested, you can put that down on your sheet and then actually practice it.